Hey everybody, welcome to the Sunday stream. Hope everybody's been having a good weekend so far. We're gonna get to work on the two projects that we've been doing on stream. We've got our Deathwing Librarian that we've been working on. He is almost done. Just a little bit more work and he'll be there. And the other project we got going on is our OG Games Day 2012 Blood Angel Captain. Got all his basic colors blocked in yesterday, and we're going to be starting highlighting him up a little bit. But I do want to make sure that we get this Deathwing Librarian finished up today. Before the stream, I went ahead and got our base about halfway done. So we've got all our basic colors airbrushed in there. Got our chain painted, got the base coat on those leaves there for there's little plants that are on all these bases. So it's ready for a wash. I'm just waiting for the paint to get good and set up before we slap a wash on here so that can be drying while we're working on the Deathwing Librarian, getting all of his final highlights finished up and get him ready to get mounted on this base. So yeah, that's kind of what we're going to be working on today. Not too much to go over, so I think we can go ahead and get to working on this dude again. So the last thing we were doing yesterday was we kind of started work on his face, so I just want to kind of get back to finishing that up. So we're going to go to the kind of final highlights on his face. And last time we were just using some of our Army Painter flesh paints like tanned flesh and some washes, and so now we're gonna just go up to our Barbarian flesh, which is our secondary highlight color, and just start putting some highlights on his face there, get that finished up. Got our Barbarian flesh kind of thinned out. We're just gonna start doing some highlights. Getting this dude looking his best. Killamundo, thanks for that follow. Appreciate you. Welcome to the stream. Looks like we got a host or an auto host from Reiner72. Appreciate that. I think that's probably all we really need to do on that face. I mean, it's got a pretty nice highlight so far. I am going to come back with like a little effect paint and do kind of like a glowing eye kind of a deal for him, because he's got this this cybernetic eye that we're going to use some fluorescent paint on to make it look like a glowing lens. And then I was going to take some of that same color and kind of put it into this little sculpt of his eye to have that kind of be a psychic glow. But now that we've got his face done, I'm just gonna go in real quick and get some like little edge highlights done on these parchments, because it's kind of fast and easy, and then we can start working on the edge highlighting of his blue armor, because it's going to take a little bit. Got another host from Epic Duck Studios. Appreciate that. I'm just taking some ivory, get nice and thinned out. I'll just start doing some edge highlights. Not gonna go overboard, just little bits here and there. Just trying to get some of these page edges. I has a Twitch, thanks for that sub. Very much appreciated. Is that a resub? I think it said 4 months. That 4-month resub, it's awesome, man. Thanks so much. Just getting those little bits of spectrum highlighted up. I think that's probably about all we'll need. No worries there, Ice Twitch. Can't ever fault somebody for letting real life get in the way. Okay, I think that's about all we need for the parchment. Just take a little bit of highlights here and there. Oogly, what's up, man? Alright. So I think the only things that we haven't edge highlighted is going to be the blue armor, the red ropes, and our green fabric. So let's get us a blue. Get our light blue from Mecha Color. Chilling with some brandy. Oh boy. Smooth this out. We'll start doing our edge highlights. I think this blue should be bright enough. Definitely see here. It's kind of subtle, but it's not a bad thing. I kind of like this. Sahariel78, what's up? Good evening to you too. Pretty excited for the new Dark Angels Codex. Yeah, I'm getting there too. I mean, I'm still like kind of a teensy bit disappointed in it. I don't think Dark Angels got nearly as much love as the Blood Angels did, their new codex. And like currently, I'm kind of thinking that really the only way to be fairly competitive with Dark Angels is going to end up being Ravenwing, which I'm not a big fan of. It's kind of, we were talking a lot about this yesterday, and I was talking with Spec Ups about this last night, that part of me really misses the days when like taking a specific character would grant you a certain unit as like a troop choice, because I feel like a lot of the shortcomings with the Dark Angels book could have been like not so bad if, say, taking Belial made all Deathwing troops. So then you can take like a battalion detachment and actually be able to utilize more than like one stratagem a game. Because the way it stands now, like the only way to run a full Deathwing army is to pick a Vanguard detachment, which only gives you +1 command point. So you only have 4 command points total. And you can only use 2 or maybe just 1, depending on like what you're doing, of the Deathwing specific stratagems to like make them cool, make them unique. And I'm also a little miffed that the only thing that makes Deathwing unique is fucking stratagems, because I don't really like stratagems all that much. Like I would much rather them have some kind of cool special rule that makes them unique, because like the Deathwing is the Terminator, like the Terminator unit, man. Like I know a lot of other like Space Marine chapters have like the Veteran Company or whatever that has lots of Terminators in it. But like the Deathwing is special, and it kind of upsets me a little bit that they didn't really get anything cool. Some nice subtle edge highlighting there on that armor. Take a little bit of white. I think 2 drops is good enough. I'm just gonna mix a little bit of white with this mecha color light blue, just to get it to be even a little bit more bright for kind of like a little secondary edge highlight on a few spots. Something else in the works maybe? I don't know, man. I don't think like the codex is bad, so don't get me wrong there. Like, I definitely don't think it's bad. I just don't think it's as good as it could have been or should have been. Okay. Got some nice edge highlights on there. I think I'm okay with that. Might hit like 1 or 2 tiny little spots, just to kind of bring it all together. Good. I'm good with that. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I already know that the line's gonna come back with the campaign that they're gonna have in the spring. But as far as like doing another rules update, like an update to the codex or a codex supplement just for that, I don't know. I mean, and of course having the lion is going to be great. So we'll see. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and throw a wash on this base before we get into the next round of edge highlights, just so that could be drying. We need our non-oil gloss, whatever that went up. There it is. Or Agrax gloss. Okay, I'll wash on there. We'll just set that aside and let that dry up. Hey, Spec, what's up, man? Alright. So let's go to our green. And I need to remember that I still need to work up the green on that shoulder pad. Oh, that's cool, man. White Mask 6, thanks for following. Appreciate that follow. First little bit of highlighted green on that dark green symbol there. That's set up. And I'm gonna do some edge highlights on this cloth. Dilgar, what's up, man? How's it going? Everybody's having a nice Sunday. That's good. And we're gonna go to Scorpion Green for just like final little highlight. Not gonna do too much of this because it's super bright. Gonna do little highlights on our symbol first. About like that's probably good enough. No, all the Deathwing symbols are green in my thing. The only red anywhere on the models is the maroon rope. I think I'm okay with that. There's slight edge highlighting on there. Yo, I'll paint my Deathwing however I want to paint my Deathwing spec. Can't stop me. little bit of glaze on there to kind of tie those together. The wheels, fucking awesome, dude. I do need a new cushion though. For whatever reason, the cats like to, you know, that thing where they like test their claws. I don't know if you've had cats, you know what I'm talking about. If it's like a blanket or something, they like to do this on it. They like to do that on the cushion because of the cover that's on it, I guess. And then they put a hole in this cushion. I didn't notice it until now because it's been sitting in a closet forever. So it wants to constantly kind of like slowly deflate over time, which is not very comfortable. So I'm gonna have to get a new one ordered. And I ordered one of those purple brand seat cushions, like Rob has. And it advertises as 2 inches thick, like, and that thing is definitely not 2 inches thick. It's like barely over an inch thick. And then like it has a cover over top of it that makes it look a little bit thicker, but like the material itself is like it's like 1.25 inches. And it does have quite a bit of compression to it when you actually sit on it, because they're not designed for what I wanted to use it for. They're meant to be like, if you're going to be sitting in like a desk chair all day, you like put that on the desk chair and you sit on top of that. SMinty923, thanks for that follow. So what I've been doing, since that the cushion that I have wants to constantly like not, it wants to deflate, is I've just put the purple brand cushion inside of the same cover so that they're kind of like stacked on top of each other. That seems to be working, but it's like, it's weird. There's like this weird like kind of Goldilocks zone of like how of like the height of the cushion to actually be kind of comfortable, and it's like kind of too tall now rather than too thin. So it's just weird. I'm just gonna have to order a new one, like a new cushion from the VA. Those are actually pretty easy to get though. I can just like send an email to somebody and be like, hey, there's a hole in this, I need a new one. They'll just like ship one right to you. It takes like a week or so. Cause like they're pretty nice. Like the one that I use is actually pretty nice, but the lifespan on them isn't very long. Cause just for me, like kind of like sitting on it all the time, like getting up, switching to like my recliner, getting in and out of bed, getting in and out of my car, like all that good stuff, like over time, the wear and tear doesn't, so like they only last for maybe like a year or so, maybe a little bit less than a year at a time. So they're pretty easy to get a hold of because of that. Okay. I'm gonna get a little bit of white and just do some like little edging on this power weapon real quick. Just because I think it needs it. Not gonna go too opaque with this, just want it to kind of get the edge of this blade. I think I got it there. That's what we needed. see if I can make this work. Get out some of this nilic oxide. I just want to kind of come in here and kind of just let that sit in there and dry up. And it should look like kind of that psychic eye glow stuff once it's dry. And I think what we can do also is get out some black paint and do some freehanding on these parchment papers. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I think the spear came out pretty good. Welcome back, Spec. Okay. And I think another cool thing that I want to do is see if I can do some cool kind of like Librarian glowing runes of protection on parts of his armor. So first what I'm going to need is some ivory. I think it's enough. Alright. So you can kind of see, so we've got like that one there, and we've got one on his leg, and then one kind of on the back of that shoulder pad. And we're just going to come in with a really bright orange, or a red. I might just do red. Kind of like that. Oh yeah, Tilgrat. Shit ton of times I've done exactly that. I don't know, it's wet still, but got that fluoro paint, just kind of like put it over the top. Yeah, I thought about doing the same thing with the Custodes, doing some of like the Custodes in mourning paint scheme. But then I decided I just didn't want to have a whole army of Custodes, so I said fuck it. Maui Blood, what's up, man? Alright, so now I'm going to go back to our ivory. pick those out a little bit more so it looks like it's kind of white hot. That kind of reddish orange glow. You see that one on the leg there? This one on the back of the shoulder. There we go. Kind of like that. Cool. He's got some protection runes glowing on his armor. Can confirm drilled barrels. I always drill barrels, man. The only time I don't drill barrels is like on this guy where it came like molded with an open barrel. Otherwise, I always do that shit. Because if you don't drill them, where the bullets come out? They don't have a hole. There's no bullets that come out. Oh, I got you. Okay, so I think I'm just gonna call him done right there. Looking pretty good. I still need to go back and I need to do an edge highlight on this shoulder pad real quick. So let's just go ahead, look at the ivory out and just kind of go across some of these brighter points with some of the ivory. And let's just go in and dot these little rivets real quick. Just pop them out a little bit like that. Really tiny. And I think that's done. Pop that off. Let's set it down. It's gonna brush out. Get our hobby knife real quick. I'm just gonna scrape some of this super glue residue off of here. Should be good enough. Yeah, Dremel definitely can't help. That should stay now. We've got that nice Deathwing shoulder pad for our Librarian. That. And I think I do need to highlight that little corner of that blue underpad ever so slightly. Like so, just that one little corner that's peeking out can be seen. We'll highlight it up a little bit, and then let's get this edge right there. Just so that little space with all those angles in there has a little bit of highlight on it. Looks better. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with how that came out. Liking it. And he's got those cool runes. Gonna filling up some extra detail space. Cool. Hey, what's up, Kenny? How's it going, man? Hanging out with the Mike Haspel up in Colorado. Let's see, so I'm not gonna keep messing with him. I'll fuck something up if I keep messing with him. So I'm just gonna set him aside and let's finish up this base. I think it's dry enough to do some dry brushing on it. So we've just been doing our bases all the same anyways. What was I using? Buff, I think. Yeah, I think this is the right one. Just dry brush this tile. And that like crumbled piece of whatever. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Some kind of statuary or something. Dry brushing this a little bit. Bring all these little details out. Good enough. Alright, and then we need to switch to some ivory for our white marble stuff. A little bit of that out there. Down the dry brush. Trying to get all these details to pop back out. The other side too, a little bit. Not too much because that underside is supposed to be kind of dirty, but just I want that kind of like squiggly stuff to come out at the edge. Cool. See if I can kind of get a little bit on these skulls without mucking it up. Get a teensy bit of these skulls to like that kind of bone white ivory color. I think that's good enough. I still want them to look kind of aged they've been there for a while. This top corner a little bit more, so just the very tip of this stands out. Cool. Highlight some of this chain. Soggy bison? No, because I do drill a hole for a pin. So you can see like our librarian, he's got this like piece of paper clip drilled into his foot that he's glued to. So after I finish painting the base, I'll just kind of figure out where I want to place him, and then I'll take my little pin vise and drill a hole, and then I'll countersink the hole a little bit at the very top so that the glue wants to kind of seep down into the hole rather than squishing out underneath his foot. So that way he'll be in there really nice and solid. Cool. Mike looks like he has a really cool man cave. I don't know where he does the podcast from, or I guess he was doing his streams when he was streaming in the same spot, but his little like man cave area looks really cool, because I'm not one for like prop stuff or like making or collecting prop stuff, but I always find it like super cool when somebody has like a massive collection of that stuff, because it always is just a marvel to behold. Oh, that's not even the real man. Oh man, I'm jealous. I think he saw it earlier, but there's a bit of news coming out of the MechCon for the Piranha Games and Harebrained Schemes was doing earlier. I think it was like Thursday, Friday, Saturday that MechCon was going on for MechWarrior Online, and Catalyst Games. What is that company called? Catalyst Game Labs is coming out with a new BattleTech miniatures game. I don't know if it's like a completely new game or if they're just like doing a massive update to BattleTech. But what's exciting is brand new minis. Brand spanking new BattleTech minis. So hype. I've wanted an update to BattleTech for so long. I'm also pretty hyped for Titanicus, if that's actually going to come out anytime soon. Very much like to see some new Titan miniatures. Okay. Highlight up these leaves a little bit. You know what? I think I'm just going to dry brush these. It's going to take way too long to try to highlight those up. Then a roll brush. And I'm going to go to a much brighter green. Yeah. The only thing that I'm hoping for with Titanicus is I hope the miniatures aren't too small. I know that's kind of a dumb thing to say when it comes to miniatures, but I would much rather the Titans be like... if I could equate it, like if a Warhound Titan is like the same height as like a Space Marine, I think that would be the proper scale. So, because then they just go up from there, right? Or like a Night Titan be the same height as a Space Marine model, and then they go up from there. So a Warlord is maybe like as tall as like a Dreadnought. I think that would be like my like perfect scale for a game like that. I got that, all those details picked out. It looks pretty nice. Get this edge down here. It's not going to show on some. There we go. Cool. That's probably all I really need to do that base. Just paint the rim, get him glued on there, and matte coat it. Because you'll notice I use that gloss wash on there. It's super shiny. That's a little hard for me to believe, Dilgrite. That would be kind of ridiculous. I mean, if that's what happened, if there was like a cool, like if the model was cool enough and it was that big, like I wouldn't be opposed to it. But that seems a little off, that the Warlord would be that big. So I thought Titanicus was supposed to be like a skirmish level game, kind of like Shadespire or Necromunda. And if you had a Warlord Titan that was the size of an Imperial Knight, which is what, like 9-10 inches tall, maybe a little less, like 8-9 inches tall, like that seems like it would take up way too much board space in a skirmish level game. Yeah. I can give you an example of kind of what I'm talking about, because I actually have a Meg here that's kind of I'll have to like dig it out. I know it's in this drawer though. Here it is. Okay. So this is one of those mech minis that I got when we were doing Mecha Madness. If like a Reaver Titan was this big, I think that would be about the right scale. So if we hold him up next to a Space Marine. So if this was like a Reaver Titan and like a Warlord Titan maybe came up to his waist, I think that would be the right scale for these, because like this is a pretty good sized miniature. And this is like from a 15 mil game. And I'd say this is maybe like 3.5 inches tall, probably. If I was just gonna eyeball it, like it's about maybe a little over 3 inches. Yeah, I think this would be the right size for like a bigger Titan. At least that's what I'm hoping for. Okay. So let's see. Let's get that. That dry up. Make sure there's no dust on this guy. Yeah. Clip our little pin. Gonna set there. Alright, let's kind of eyeball where we want him to go, because so I think about right there. So what I'll do is I'll just kind of like press it in ever so slightly. Wiggle it around to kind of leave a mark. And then we'll come in with the drill. Find our spot, just right here. Get it started. And then we can start torquing down on it. And your pin doesn't have to be like too terribly long for it to be a really good stick, but I'm going to drill a little bit deeper than our pin probably is lengthwise. Back this out. Give it one more go. Try to get all that resin dust out of there. So now we've got our little hole. And then what I like to do is either take a larger drill bit or your hobby knife and just kind of swirl it around in there. This is creating like kind of a conical divot at the top of that hole. Kind of countersinks the hole. And it creates a reservoir for your super glue to go into. Get out the airbrush. I'm trying to get some air down that hole, get some of that resin dust under there. Should be good enough. Okay, it'll just sit right down in there. Perfect. Just let him rest. Let that glue dry up. Get my hand into a little sticky dot thing. So I can put the flat base onto our little rubber stopper here. Stick it on there. Okay, it's not going anywhere. So this way I can let that dry, and when it's dry, I can matte coat him. But that's what he's gonna look like kind of right now. And of course, when we matte coat him, it's going to take away a lot of the shine from all the different types of paint and washes and all that kind of good stuff. So while we wait for that, we can start doing some more work on our Blood Angels guy here. And what I wanted to do before we got into too much highlighting is take some of our Bloodletter glaze and kind of go over some of our red panels, because it got a little dusted out with one of our matte coats. And so I just want to come in and kind of like get some vibrancy back into that red before we move on. So we can just come in with our Bloodletter. Trying to pull the pigment down to where our airbrush highlights were. So normally I wouldn't do this, but for whatever reason, on our last matte coat, maybe some user error, got a little bit of dust going on. A little bit of that color got dusted out. So I just want to bring back some of the vibrancy of our red with this this Bloodletter glaze. Should only need maybe like 1 or 2 passes with it. Okay. Got our red back to a little bit more vibrant color. I'm thinking about what I might do as well. Oh yeah, the Blood Angels guy? Yeah, he's a really good, one of the old models that's really held up. It's really nice. Black Knights are dropping points. Cool. No, you were hoping for that. I'm actually going to come in with some of this Cassandora yellow. Not that much Cassandora yellow, shit. And just try to get it built up on some of our brighter points, just to kind of like help out our nice airbrush highlights show through again. So we had that really nice kind of like fire orange red going on. I just want to bring that back up a little bit. Like normally I wouldn't have to go through all this effort, but since I didn't mix our matte coat good enough, or maybe I sprayed it too heavily, I can't remember what happened exactly, but since our stuff got all dusted out, got to come back with these glazes to get rid of that and kind of re-brighten up our areas where we had our airbrush highlights going on. Okay, I think we're getting those back a little bit now. Valnar, depends on the brand. Because you can get nice airbrush setups at discount, and sometimes you can't. And sometimes stuff that seems like a good deal is actually just crap. So I would say it depends on the brand of the airbrush. Yeah, I think that little Ravenwing thing you got going on spec is going to be cool with the Deathwing. I think that'll work out really nicely. So I need one of our really dark grays. German gray, there it is. Need some German gray and start highlighting up this black a little bit. It's not going to seem like very much of a change, but there will be a nice transition once we go up through our different grays. This one's just a super dark gray. We get a nice first highlight there. This gray is kind of bringing that up a little bit. So then what I want to do is go up to is Phantom Gray like the same thing? Let's see here. Yeah, Phantom Gray is a little bit brighter, so let's get some Phantom Gray going on. And then let's go to my uniform gray. If I can find it. There it is. Okay, get the shoulder pad. Going in and catching all these highest edges where we've put our two other layers of gray. Just so that this uniform gray, even though it's not very bright as far as grays go, it's really making those hard edges on our stuff that's black, just making those pop out. Nice black backpack. Pretty good. black knee pad there. I think now we can start doing the little ridges on this stuff. Just being really careful. Just barely touching the edge of these with my brush so that it just picks out the ridges. About like that. Go. Got a little ridges on his little treads. Back when Space Marines had treads on their boots. Which I always thought looked cooler. Try to get this texture on the palm of this power fist. Just very lightly. There we go. And we'll get some edging on these little knuckle bits. Okay. these little black bits are looking pretty much done. I'm liking where those are at. I think next we need to work on our yellows a little bit. So I'm going to bring out our yellow ochre and our sun yellow, which is what we used to mix up the original color for base painting these. And I'm just going to do kind of the same thing, except not as much yellow ochre as last time, so it'll be a little bit brighter. And the reason I like using the yellow ochre is because this model color gives the game color a little bit more stick to it, so it's a little bit easier to paint with. And the sun yellow gives us that really vibrant medium yellow that we're looking for. Start highlighting this stuff out. Not gonna focus on one spot too much. I'm just gonna go in, get a thin layer on there, and move on so that that layer can dry up really good before trying to put another one on. It's kind of the only way that I know how to paint yellow that's not a fucking headache, is you do a pass and you move on and you come back. So you're gonna sit there and try to work it up and dick with it, it's just gonna be a pain. So I prefer to just do like a little layer and then move on to the next spot. Because you can always come back to it once it's fully dried up. What I use to thin my paints? When I brush paint, just water. When I'm trying to do stuff like glazing or wet blending, I'll use a little bit of my airbrush flow improver as a medium for it. But most of the time, when I'm brush painting like this, I just use water. Just add a little bit of water to the paint, mix it up, go to work. If it starts to dry out, I can just refresh it with some more water. Easy peasy. catching all these big old flat areas. This should be okay for the gun. I have to go back and fix that little bit that I got into the detail. Just put a little bit of wash in there, it'll be totally fine. Start working on this shoulder pad. It's actually kind of nice because instead of working with like one big old giant shoulder pad, you're just kind of working with like a bunch of smaller sections that are broken up by all these little details on it. Yo-Yo Aimo Kazaki, thanks for that follow. Appreciate you. Welcome to the stream. I don't know, I guess it depends on like your personal, like the way that you do stuff. Like I've just gotten to like the way that I paint. I don't really have a problem with paint drying out on my palette. When I'm gonna get a death course of Krieg Soldier, I don't know, I used to have a huge deathcore army number of years ago, and I don't think I'm ever gonna go back. I'm kind of done with the whole horde army thing. I've got an army of Mordians right now, and I don't think I'm ever gonna bring it over 1,000 points. Just because I do not want to get back into the painting of the massive hordes of troops anymore. Let that yellow set up a little bit. Let's see. So we're letting that set up. Gonna be a fucking bum and set up a food delivery because I have not eaten today and I am stupid hungry. Just take a second, set this food delivery up so that I can have some food get here after the stream ends. Pavis, I'm getting pizza actually. I was just thinking in my head like, I'd really like some nice pizza. Ah, joke's on you, Spec. There actually is a kebab place that I could get food from if I wanted. Alright, cool. Let's get back to painting. I don't know what you're talking about, Apophis, but it sounds like blasphemy. That does not sound like pizza. It sounds like an unholy abomination that should be shot. I think you British people are doing pizza the wrong way, and we need to learn you. Don't encourage him, Spec. It's not pizza. Get down, cat. Not one painting. Changing laws on kebab meat is causing an uproar in the UK. What, like grade certification for like quality of meat? Because I know nothing about how the UK does it. Like, all I know is the USDA and how they do meat. Oh, I should specify, this is Flesh Gets Yellow that we switched to for our secondary highlight to get this yellow like hella poppin'. Got it super thin, so just kind of coming in with it, doing a really thin coat, just kind of not a glaze, but almost there, but still not a glaze. Just enough to where I can kind of push the concentration of pigment around to where I want it. Okay, so okay, that makes sense. Just trying to make the meat healthier for people. Totally get it. Save them from themselves, basically. I kind of understand where they're coming from though, because like I don't know, like hot dogs are about as American as you can get, um, and I definitely have tried like the like super duper like healthy version of hot dogs that people some places have. Like there's a chain of grocery stores in America called Central Market, or not Central Market, but Whole Foods, which is like very like health conscious food, and I actually like them because they have a really good meat market. They're like their meat market and fish market is like is incredibly fresh and very high grade. So if I'm gonna buy meat to cook, like raw meat to cook, then I like to go to Whole Foods because it's like top notch. Um, Probably not the best in America, obviously, but definitely a lot better than most of the chain grocers in America as far as like fresh meat and stuff goes. And they have some hot dogs that they sell there, and like I recognize that the meat is supposed to be like better for you and higher quality, and they don't have all the junk in it, and they don't taste like hot dogs. They don't taste good. Like there's just you can't beat like an actual fucking hot dog. That being said, I don't eat like hot dogs every day, and if I have one, I have like one hot dog because I know it's bad for me. Kosher is inhumane? How is it? Is that because they have to drain all the blood? That's what it means, right? Or am I wrong? Isn't kosher meat where they have to like drain all the blood out or something? I don't know. Oh, like the super like lean chicken? I don't know, because I kind of feel differently on chicken. Like I said, I did get some chicken the other day that I grilled, and that was from Whole Foods, and that was like, no hormones, like free range, like air chilled, like never fully frozen, that kind of thing. That's a really good fucking chicken. I mean, like grilling that chicken is 10 times better than like grilling, like fucking run of the mill chicken you get anywhere else. Um, so I don't know. Like I guess it's like a difference of palate. Oh, because it's like the kind of it's part of it is like the ritual, and the other part is like they have to get all the blood. Okay, I get it now. Yeah, that does sound kind of shitty. Um, yeah, Apophis, you are right. The like the chicken farm shit, like where they're just like mass produced and like those operations, like that stuff's probably not very good because they like shoot all kinds of hormones and chemicals and shit into the chickens, and they're all like kept in those cages and stuff. It's fucking disgusting. You're just gonna bother the shit out of me, aren't you? But I need you to get out. I need you. Oh, you big fucking baby. I need to do like one more section of yellow. Can you please just like chill and not get on my mic? So I'm not gonna hold you like a baby while I'm working. Ah, you make it so hard. Oh, they want that chicken? That's fucking stupid. I bet that has less to do with like the quality of the chicken and more to do with like the the healthier farming of chicken being like way more expensive on the farm owners. That's usually what a lot of that shit comes down to, is that people don't want to spend the extra expense to have an operation like that. Okay, our yellow is really popping now, so all that's left is to give it like an edge highlight. Alright, bye cat. Goddamn. Oh. I can understand that too, I suppose. Nah, I'm probably just gonna have to like. I wish I still had my door in yellow for the edge paint, because that's a really good edge paint. I'm gonna have to just like mix up a custom color, some ivory, and probably some moon yellow. So I don't want to do straight ivory for the edge highlight, because it's a little bit too much. Yeah, this ivory and sun yellow is pretty close to Dorn yellow. Here we go. Oh god, the camera does not like that. Little like yellow chest thing done. Yeah, totally get that. I wish I could say that we've never done that, but we totally have. think our yellow is right where I want it. Pretty good. I have to do some cleanup right in here and a little bit on our bolter as well. So I'm just gonna do that right now while I'm thinking of it. Where's our black paint? There it is. Kind of clean up some of these lines. There we go, much cleaner. Cut that line in there between the grip and the rest of the casing, just to kind of clean that up a little bit so it looks a little bit nicer. About like that. Same thing with this joint right here between the trim of the power fist and the red of the armor. Just want to cut that little black line in there to kind of help distinguish it a little bit better. Okay. The brush that I'm using right now is a Winsor Newton. I think this is a 00. Yeah, 00 Series 7. Yeah. I think this is just the normal version. Because I like having the longer bristles on it, because it's got more bend to it. I just prefer that. I know some people like the shorter ones. But I've been using this like Winsor Newton Series 7 style of brush for almost a decade. as my main like painting tool, and I just that's what I prefer. And I use this 00 for just about everything, man. Like it can do it all. Unless I'm trying to like base coat something like a really big area, it's not all that great, but I can do almost everything with just that little 00. Okay, we are making a lot of progress on this dude. I think the next thing that I want to do is work on some of our metallics. So I'm just going to do the gold stuff real quick because there's not a whole lot of that. So I'm going to just come in with our elfin gold because it's really bright. I'm just going to run a highlight on all these little gold bits. Yeah, well, I mean, like it's not a bad problem to have with all those different brush sizes. I mean, like I know that I say that I use this particular brush for just about everything, but I probably have like 30 to 40 brushes of different styles and makes and sizes and stuff, just because I like having like if I need a tool for a very specific job, I like having that tool on hand rather than having to kind of you know, like force something else to work. So there are definitely times when I'm just like, oh man, I know exactly what I need to do this one thing, and I like having that specific brush on hand. So having all those different brushes is definitely not a bad thing. I think you'll be just fine. Do I game? Yeah, I play 40k. Um, I also don't play as much, but I do have Infinity and some Dark Age. About equal amounts between Infinity and Dark Age. I have like 3 or 4 factions in each of those games. I do really enjoy those games. But the most amount of stuff that I use or that I have is in 40k. CP Gray. Yo, there are no brakes on the hype train. I know it seems like I'm painting this really fast, but I mean, like, when you think about it, we've been working on this same model for, what, three streams in a row? We started on them on Wednesday. So, I mean, there's probably a good, 3, 4, 5, 7 hours in it right now, which is a pretty solid amount of time to spend on one mini. Really finished your own models, yeah. I'm the same way, man. I have a ton of unfinished projects where I just lose interest in them. Oh, jeez. Okay. I think it's all the gold. So we can move on to our steel metallic. Yeah. Those robots have a ton of detail to them, too. I can see those being pretty long projects. Because I know that you're no slouch in the paint department. So I know your stuff is going to look pretty top-notch when you're done. How's the commission stuff going, man? Getting some work, hopefully. Yeah, I know that feeling, man. reminds me of I don't know if you know, like, I mean, you were a Marine, so you might know, but do you know of the Terminal Lance comic strip? I like reading those because a lot of them don't really, uh, you don't really have to have been a Marine to really get it. Because a lot of them are just like kind of basic military life, funny stuff. There was a comic from maybe a year or so ago talking about like how like 2 weeks after you ETS, you just have like a Moses beard. It's like the first thing on people's agenda. Oh, that's cool, man. He seems like a really cool dude. Oh wow, that is gonna be busy. I'm a little jealous you're going to Japan. I might be going sometime next year. My roommate really wants to go to do a maybe like a week or so in Japan. So we'll have to figure out the logistics of everything. We might go. Luckily, I'm not doing anything in January, so I get like a whole month to kind of recharge the batteries between SoCal Long War and Adepticon. Oh, Space Cops, you squinty fuck. Oh, that sounds like a really cool trip. There's a ton of cool stuff to do in Tokyo. I would definitely one of my things I really want to go do is hit up Odaiba. Go get my picture taken with the life-size Gundam. Which is a new one, I think. I think they changed the statue out. It used to be the original Gundam, the RX-78. And now it's the Unicorn Gundam they just finished. Which I'm kind of like, I'm not a big fan of that design, but I mean, still pretty hype because it's a life-size Gundam. Oh, I didn't know you were stationed out there. Let's see. Before I go up another level, I'm going to do his teeth real quick. Just some buff. Some of our yellow khaki. Try to get a little bit of color on his teeth. I think Jason has talked about it before, but you almost never want to do like actual fucking ivory on teeth unless the model is really big. You want to go with more of a color like this because it looks a little bit more realistic. About like that. And if I'm feeling froggy, I might be able to get in there and draw a little black line. Get a little cartoon grin going on him. But I'm gonna work on more on his face first. Oh, cool. I didn't know that. Oh, wait. Yeah, I did. I remember you telling me about that because your marriage certificate was in Japanese and you have no idea what it said. I remember that now. It's got dragons on it. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Get his skin to look a little bit paler. There you go. I think that works for me. Okay. Sure, my brush is nice and clean. Let's get a little crazy. See, make sure I can kind of see. I mean, I gotta see what I'm doing too. That doesn't look very good. Try again. I don't know, what does it look like on camera? I can barely tell. I mean, in person it looks like, huh, I think Dick with the focus here. See what it looks like on camera. So again, I'm like right up close. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, that looks fine. He's got that kind of like, that little line right there, giving him the kind of like clenched teeth look. Yeah, it looks fine. Okay. Work on that hair a little bit. And he's supposed to have like shock white hair, so I'm just gonna pull out some Ulthwan gray. We'll start working on it a little bit. I can really tell this model was conceived in the 80s, because like, in what other time in modern history was like having a flat top and a ponytail at the same time cool? Maybe early 90s, but I mean, like, come on. That flat top plus ponytail. Work on this blue a little bit. Pyroferus RC, thanks for that follow. I'm gonna go ahead and do a base coat on all these gemstones, because all the gemstones are gonna be blue sapphire. So they'll pop out next to all of the red and gold and yellow. I haven't decided if I'm gonna do a gemstone effect or if I want to do a fluoro paint, because it might look cooler if they were all glowing. John J, it entirely depends what kind of base I'm using. More often than not, if I'm using a resin base, like this is going to be his base right here. It's a resin base with like sculpted detail into it. I prefer to paint these separately. And because it's a resin base, I prefer to have models pinned into it using these little like paper clips. Kind of like we did on our Librarian here, right? Like it wouldn't make much sense to just kind of try to super glue him on there because he'll pop off at a moment's notice. If we're talking about like batch painting, like big squads of stuff, and I'm just gonna use like the normal little plastic bases, yeah, I'll glue them to the base, and because usually if I'm gonna use those bases, all I do is like some texture paint and maybe some grass flocking on there. In which case, like, I'll just paint them attached to the base, like, no big deal. Like, for example, I've got this Nurgle Lord that I did a while back. And this is just, like, some cork, some of this stuff that I just, like, pulled apart into big chunks. And some texture paint and some grass flocking. And when I painted this guy, I just like glued him to the base, then put the texture paint on there with the cork, and then just like primed it all at once, and then painted the base separate, like the colors on the base after I was already done painting him. But when it comes to using like resin model, or not resin models, but resin bases, I prefer to paint those separately just because I think it looks better. I haven't always done it. Like sometimes I'll just have to attach something to a base because it's too much of a pain in the ass, but most of the time I'll paint them separately. Like, with my Mordians, my Imperial Guard dudes, all of those guys are on, like, slotta bases. The little plastic bases with the slot cut into them because all the infantrymen are mounted to little metal tabs that you just glue into the base. So for all of those, I glue them to the base, and then I put texture paint over it, and then just prime it all at once, because that's like the easiest way to do it, at least for me. Yeah, you know what? I think I am going to go with fluoro for all these little gemstones. I think that's going to look cool. So I'm just going to like put a little bit of ivory paint on each one and then drop some fluoro on top of it so it has a nice like really bright kind of almost glow to it. I think that'll look really cool. What kind of camera do I use? The one up here is a Logitech C5, Logitech 550, C55, C550, something like that. I don't know. But then this one is the C920. Just like kind of a baseline HD webcam. A lot of people use that on here. Now I need to find my fluorescent blue paint. Which should be around here somewhere. If I know I bought some. That's light blue, fluoro orange, fluoro green. Did I not buy blue fluorescent paint? Just like fuck myself here. There's yellow. Oh, I know what I can use. See if this works. Nope, that doesn't work. That's not what I want. God damn it. Well, we're pretty much out of time anyways, so I think I will have to... I'm pretty sure, I think it's in my closet. So I know I have some. So when we come back, we can drop the fluorescent on all these blue gems, and that'll look fine. But yeah, he's almost done. I think after we do these gemstones, all that's left to do is edge highlight his red armor. I'll have to fix that little corner. But yeah, so we got a lot of work done on this dude today. Pretty pleased with how he's coming out. So yeah, when we come back next time, I think all we gotta do is gems, purity seals, leather, and red armor edge highlight, and then we'll slap him on his base. So that's working pretty good, and pretty much got the Librarian finished up today. He still needs to get a matte coat to finish him out, but we finished the Librarian today, and I'm pretty happy with how this guy came out. He's got a lot of cool stuff going on. He's got, you know, the force weapon effects. He's got some glow in the eyes. He's got some cool freehand for like all the Librarian books and such, and then he's got some of these cool glowing runes, like little psychic wards on his armor, freehanded in there, and used some fluoro paint to get those looking nice. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how he came out. All we gotta do is hit him with a matte coat to take all the shine off of these washes and various paints and stuff, and he'll be done. So I'll make sure to take some studio pictures of him, post those up on the social medias after I get him finished up. And then when we come back, we'll work on this dude again and paint his base and get him finished up, and then we'll probably start our next couple of projects, which is going to be our Imperial Space Marine, who's going to be a Dark Angels Fallen. So I've got him in a couple of pieces. Got his gun over here, his big honking gun. And probably at the same time, we'll work on this True Scale Space Wolves hero that we've got. He's True Scale Terminator Lord for the Space Wolves from our friend Captain Calico Miniatures. So we'll probably start those two at the same time once we get the Blood Angel dude finished. I also have most of the stuff for our other Blood Angels project, which is going to be a custom Mephiston model. So I'm going to be taking our Primaris Librarian guy and be doing a pretty intensive kit bash with Mephiston, who's the chief librarian of the Blood Angels, like hella badass. So I've got the Primaris kit. I also have some Blood Angel's shoulder pads that I got. So we can have some like really cool embossed Blood Angel's pads. I think we're going to end up using this one right here, because that's the most similar to the actual Mephiston shoulder pad. And then I've also got some heads from Spellcrow, because the Mephiston head is a little small on the Primaris body, and these are just a teensy bit bigger. And so I think I'm going to be using this one right here, because it's a very similar face, and he has kind of like the long hair with the very high Widow's Peak arch and the hair. So I think this is a really good stand-in for Mephiston's head. So we'll be doing that sometime soon as well, but I'm still waiting on to get the actual Mephiston model in the mail. Alright, so other than that, I think we are going to be done for the evening. So let's find us somebody to host. We'll give them a nice big old raid. Alright, cool. Alright, so that's it for tonight. We're going to be back again this coming Wednesday, 8 to 10 p.m. US Central Time. And this coming week is also going to be the first week that we add Thursday to the lineup. So we're going to do Wednesday, Thursday, 8 to 10, and then Saturday, Sunday, 5 to 8. That's going to be our new schedule. Wednesday is going to be the same. It's going to be our Hobby Hangout Wednesday. For all that cool hobby stuff. The Discord will be open, all that jazz. And then I think we're going to do Thursdays. We're still going to be painting, but it's going to be a little bit more laid back on the painting. And we'll have discussion on like 40k tactics to start off for Thursdays. It'll be like 40k tactics, list building, like all that kind of thing. And I'll have the Discord open in case people want to jump in and have open discussion. And then once we've kind of like gotten into a rhythm of doing that, we can branch out into other game systems as well for people who want to talk about that kind of stuff. So like that, it'll be like Tactics Thursday or something. So look forward to that. We're gonna throw a host over to PixieLou85. She's usually not on this time of night, so we're gonna throw a host over her. I think she's painting some Age of Sigmar stuff, so that'll be interesting. Like normal, wait for that host to go through and then jump over to her channel. Tell her I sent you. Spam with those Jack Clubs emotes if you got them. And I'll see y'all on Wednesday.